Hey, how's it going? Now, where was I? I believe I was talking about baby poop. Sorry I had to take an extended break and do some highly technical... Not really. I had to do some moving around of storage because it cut off. I didn't want parts, but you got them. So, anyway, the point of all of what I was talking about, although I realized it, like in the break while I was doing other things, that diapers and poop also have a connection to Trump. It was not conscious, I promise you. But the point, I think, of like the creation and sort of destruction, I guess, of the star, or like the final processes of one state of being as it transitions to the next, is something that is mysterious, turbulent. Like in the womb, while stuff's happening with the baby, the mother, the host, is being preyed upon, essentially. I mean, you pretty much have like kind of a parasite in your body, and one thing that happens to the mother is that the mother's body is fighting on a level with this foreign object that's appeared in their system and is just growing in there. Like it's your child, but maybe your body doesn't think like you think. Like, anyway, I don't know like how bad that is from like person to person. Like, I'm sure there are degrees of how that manifests, but I think the way it manifests is stuff like, you know, you have like an indigestion or something like that, because the fetus is doing stuff in your body. Like, creation is a process, stuff, chemical reactions, etc. happen, and then you also may or may not have to deal with like the body just kind of being like, this is a foreign body in my body, and obviously at some point that kind of thing is resolved because people. So at any rate, you know, like the mother might not feel well, like maybe lose their hair or their nails become like crumbly and brittle or something. Like, it literally is feeding on you, the child is, and then the process of feeding the feeding child requires you being fed on by your own body, and it's a collaborative effort. Highly symbolic of change. I know you did not come in here and ask me to let you out when I was just over there. I wanted to ask you, did you want to go out before I started doing this? Hold on, I gotta stop again. Okay, I swear to God, it's like the universe does not want me to get to the friggin' point. So anyway, all of those processes, in whatever configuration, I think the point is the processes and the going through something like pretty major, like in a life. And so the next card is petrified wood, and there you go, is like a representation of, if it's petrified, it is not any longer a living tree, and so it's not doing that stuff anymore. What it is now is, it's, depending on the age, like if wood gets really old in the petrification, it's like stone. It changes composition. It's like stone, and stone is like a wise object, let's say, because it's been around for a long time to become stone, and it's It's seen some things. It's gone through its own set of processes. But it is just another point in the transition. It's like another stage. So the subtitle is Lost, and it reads, "It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything." Well, you're certainly free of the constraints that you would have as a living being, once you've transitioned from living to the next stage. And it's about just taking a different shape and form, really. And then with petrified wood, like, it often ends up having a function, like, as does stone. Like, stone has its own business going on, like it does stone stuff. But sometimes we employ stones in building and for roads and things, and we've used stone, millstones. We've used stone for a long time. So, but that may not be the stone's objective, although in this universe where everything has a consciousness, maybe it's the stone's purpose to be used to help humans do stuff. Just like everything that should keep us healthy and alive, had we not man-made so many things and altered so many things in the world. Like, everything we need is here. Like, we wouldn't need to take man-made medicine, because if we would have not, like, man-made a bunch of poisonous pollutants, we wouldn't have ailments in the first place. But that's a whole bunch of other videos. I don't know, like, I guess that's it as far as what I was going to say here about the petrified wood and that stage of being, or what it represents. Something about the loss, though. We're kind of, okay, so it says it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Well, in a way, you're always free to do anything, metaphorically. It's just, are you making the decision to or not? Or you might have your reasons for deciding to or not. However, when you lose everything, like if you survive a natural disaster and your house literally got blown 8 ways from Sunday, like it's in 7 different counties because of a tornado, I mean, you're basically starting from zero there. But in a way, it's like a wiping clean of the slate. Like, it's freeing you to do, like, okay, I don't have to be responsible for all of that stuff anymore. I mean, you do. Your bills for those things are not going to go away. Unfortunately, seems like that should be the rule. Like, oh, all gone. Just cross it out. Exit out of the log, or the... Yeah, fine, the log. It's not, though, sadly. But you do have fewer constraints. Like, without all of that stuff, it might be easier to deal with, like, having to finance all of it. You could, like, cut down your overhead quite a bit, like, completely. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, because that's probably something that's happening about now in the Midwest. I should look at that. I hear about, well, actually, Never mind. I do. Never mind. It's not important now. Okay, so the final card is Jade. And can I just say that growing up, I had occasion to be in Chinatown a lot as a kid. And I was always drawn to the jade displays in the windows of places. And they're often rings that, as a kid, they looked like lifesavers. But it still always has stuck with me how much I wanted to put the jade in my mouth. Because it looks smooth and cool. Like, obviously I'm going to know, at my age especially, that it's a stone. And I'm not going to try to chew it or swallow it or anything. It's a sensation thing. TMI? So, okay, anyway. The jade card, here you go. And the subtitle is Fear. Dun-dun-dun. Becoming fearless. That's the wrong end of the piano, by the way, for that key. I do realize that. For all of you musicians out there, gotta keep my cred. Anyway, becoming fearless isn't the point. That's impossible. It's learning how to control your fear and how to be free from it. So, since I've been talking about Mr. Trump and his life, the progression that I was talking about through the cards, you know, kind of feels like interlaced through like the guy's whole life, and especially now, I think has been fear. Because I think everything that he says and does is a reflection of unresolved fears. Like, I think maybe unexamined, really, or examined in a way that sheds no light on, like, healing or allowing you to see that, like, fear is not all there is. So I have, like, a level of compassion for the guy, even though he's, like, in charge of so much doo-doo happening in the United States and the world. And it's just, it seems so clear to me and other people that it's all, like, this combination of needing control but feeling like completely insecure. He's totally the guy that wants to be like the strong leader and admires Kim Jong-un's leadership style, where the people are completely submissive, and he does it by keeping them starved and didn't mean to whistle like that, but keeping them starved and submissive, and they're scared. Like, it's a whole environment of fear, like a fear terrarium, and like the leader feeds on it. Like, that's what keeps that family going, and that has kept them going in the sense of they've been in that position that's almost like royalty there. They've certainly made, like, generations of this one family the leader. So, you know, that constitutes a long time. Not like British royalty, which goes way further back, or European or African. Like, I don't really know ancient Korean history, but they probably, when it was just all one place, had royalty. But it hasn't been surviving over time very well, the infrastructure of royalty. And that's not what we have here in the United States. So there's no infrastructure for it. In fact, the whole infrastructure is specifically against that thing, the having royalty. But that's what happens when you don't know what your own constitution says or is about, I guess. I mean, that's like kind of our deal. Well, it has been historically, but no one studies history but old people anymore, I guess. So, becoming fearless isn't the point. That's impossible. Especially at his age, he's not going to get out of it. And I think the fear stems, like, look at the things that are sort of like right out there for all of us to see. He's very concerned with his appearance. And he talks it up like he looks great. And that's fine. Like, we should all do that, actually. We should all feel fine. You know, it doesn't have to be the best appearance ever, or the best hair you ever saw. Like, that's his deal. And that also speaks to a fear of feeling like under something, like lesser than, in like all kinds of ways. And that sounds exhausting. Like, how do you live like that, you know? And then there's like his health that's also been right out there. It's not been an endorsement for health, really. More of an endorsement for capitalism and, you know, like flavors, food scientists, because it seems like he obviously has fine food too, you know. Like, it's kind of silly that we would think he's unhealthy because he only eats fast food. There's plenty of fine food too. That, have you ever heard of royalty having gout, G-O-U-T? That actually is, I think that's what gout is mainly known for. Is like, well, Kim Jong-un had gout, and look at his form. He overindulges in rich foods. I think cheese is supposed to be the main culprit, but I suspect it's just a diet of rich food and not enough activity. And I'm completely, I mean, I can see myself right now. So if there's irony to be noticed, I do. Thank you very much. However, I have a different situation going on, but this is not about me for a change. So it seems, okay, so it says it's learning how to control your fear. So it seems like he hasn't done that, but it seems like he's more trying to control the things outside of him that are frightening, like people's opinions of him. Like, nobody it cannot be more clear that no one can say a thing about him. Like, he might find it offensive, and then he might lash out if he does, and there goes your job, or there goes millions from your company, just to insert himself in the middle of a transaction that's not his job. There's a whole government of people to do stuff, but he's got to micromanage everything because to him it's a reflection on him. I will point out, though, I just saw press conferences yesterday, so multiple different news agencies where he's asked about certain current programs and policies in his own government, and he's asked questions about them, and the press secretary has answered, and she's answered like, oh, it's his decision, he knows all about it. Or, you know, the Treasury Secretary is like, well, we're waiting to see what the president thinks, or what's the president gonna do. And it's like, clearly no one's talking to him, because his answer at the press conferences that I referenced was, oh, I don't know, somebody else is doing that. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're the president. You don't even know about this stuff? Are you signing off? Like, that's that's not a good sign. He is really just like a mess, you know, so worried about stuff that is not, like, important, for one thing, to very much of the rest of us. Like, his personal appearance, it gets a lot of attention, but it's not a lot of admiration. And the admiration I do hear, I also am hearing some, what is the word, falsehood, some falsity. Like, I don't completely buy it, you know. But then I'm not into being up someone's butt to my shoulders, so that's just what it looks like. Like, they see what I see, but for reasons, they're gonna act like that's not the case, and that seems to be widespread. That's not. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I don't feel that way about stuff. I don't feel that way about this. I don't feel that way about this particular stuff. It's learning how to control your fear and how to be free from it. So, I'm not saying it can't be done by this person, but I think it's too late, and I think that his capacities mentally are starting to fail him, or have been failing and are fading. I think he just is having more difficulty, but he's still sharp enough to, you know, sit there and, shouldn't probably do this, but pay attention to all kinds of criticism when, man, you'd probably be better off to just keep your head down and do, like, your presidenting, such as it is, because it seems like he's handed off, it seems like there's a lot of delegating that's happened. So yeah, I usually try to stay away from, like, getting too personal, especially with him, but that's what I started thinking of, so I felt like that's what I was going to be talking about. I don't know, like, what you're supposed to do with that, with my view on things, on those matters, but I don't know, maybe it's helpful to just have a little bit more of an idea of what might be going on with this person that is so prominent in all of our lives, at least here in the United States. It's been like a decade of having to hear his name and think about him and hear his thoughts and activities, and I'm ready for a change. Like, you don't have to totally go away, but you do have to go away, is how I feel about him. But I can't, it's becoming easier to have, like, to be charitable toward the people that are just dead set on making it hard for a lot of the rest of the people living here. And it's something that it couldn't be more clear that we have to deal with together. Like, we have to find ways of working out what's not working. And it's amazing. It's always been amazing to me how people will be like, oh, that we can't do that, I'll never get along with. And man, never say never, because you still got to be here with all of everybody and all of the stuff. Might as well deal with it. I mean, what the hell else are we here for if not to deal with the stuff right in front of us? But let me just throw in a little caveat here. Not the way we have been, because that's not really progressing us to a new, better place. And what I mean by that is, I don't think we should fight fire with fire anymore, because it's not effective. It's not even effective in firefighting, really. I mean, if they do it, it's highly dangerous. So even skilled people in good conditions could just turn on you all of a sudden, and everything's completely different, and you're in this uncontrollable conflagration that's going ways you did not want it to go. And I think that's a result of fighting fire with fire. Maybe we do different stuff and, you know, bite the bullet and nut up and gut it out and just figure out how to learn how to get along again. And from there, we can start making it like a place that's acceptable, more than acceptable to all of us. We have so many resources, and we know that we have been lied to, basically, or just, you know, lies of omission about a lot of stuff that directly concerns us. And we, I think, also bear some of the responsibility, because I'm also guilty of this. I don't want to deal with a bunch of stuff. I want to indulge in what I want to indulge in, but that attitude and activities are not the healthiest, probably. You know, like, you can't just let stuff go forever, because all of a sudden it's gotten away from you and you find yourself in a place you don't want to be. So, I mean, I think we just have to, like, really get real about what we're facing, and, like, in a way we have not, like, ever before in human memory. So, well, that's enough of me. Thank you, and good night.